Okay, welcome back to Swans Cast, everyone. So it's been a while. We've been probably like 2 weeks, I think, since we last uploaded. Apologies for that. Just, life goes on and all the rest of it. Lee's actually been gallivanting out to the country for a wedding. So, you have a good time?
Yeah, it was class. It was, so I went for a wedding in Greece. Nikki's wedding, who actually comes on the podcast sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. It was a bit like nerve-wracking with everything going on, but to be honest with you, it was easy, nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
All the paperwork and stuff to do, but apart from that, it's all fine.
They've changed the rules since you've come back. Now it's even less if you're double jabbed, but we're not here to talk about COVID. So, there might be rules for Welsh sport games in terms of having proof of stuff in there coming in. So maybe that's for another podcast. But so didn't want to do it on my own. I'll be honest, I didn't manage to watch all three of the last games. I watched the Millwall one, but work gets in the way. I was like,
yeah, I think we got a good combination because I saw the Hull game, and then I was flying back home when the Millwall game was on.
Yeah,
and you've seen that one, so we got a good balance there.
There is something to say on that though. It's definitely more difficult to watch them this season if you can't get to the game. It's so much harder to watch them, and it's frustrating because it's gone back. Like, it kind of makes you feel like we were spoilt in lockdown, and I would always go to the game if I can get there. But I shouldn't really say this on the internet, but if I'm in work, on my break in work, and I want to watch the game, I can't. I physically can't. I mean, I could for the Millwall one because it was on Swans TV because it wasn't a prime time kickoff. I had to pay a tenner, but I'm not paying a season pass of Swans TV for like. I don't know if it's worth it because I don't know how many games we're going to get out of it.
You can't. You only get the selection of midweek games, no.
Yeah,
I think.
And they could get moved and stuff like that, and I don't know if I'm going to end up going to the games until the week of them sometimes. So it seems like
I know it's an EFL rule, isn't it? I think that they can't show the 3:00 games. I think it's the same with
Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's ridiculous. Like,
I know it's ridiculous, but I think it comes from Sky, and that's where the problems lie. But again, I think this is definitely a topic for another podcast. We need to perhaps just narrow in on what has been going on, because a lot has been going on since the last time we were on video. Lee wasn't actually here last time. We did a little bit of a transfer special at Jordan, Joey and Send Him Off podcast on, just to discuss the new signings, and maybe we'll get your take now at the start of the video, but I think the more time that's gone on, I feel more positive about the transfer window. We only really lost Connor Roberts and Lowe. Like, we were expecting to lose the loan players that we lost last year and Andre Ayew, and we actually brought in more players than I can remember us bringing in recent times. Now, obviously, time will tell how good additions they have been. Some look like they're making good starts already. Some maybe take a little bit more time, which is fair. But I don't think it is the question of the fees. But otherwise, I don't think the transfer window was really that bad.
I think they saved it in the end with the Cham and Obafemi signings. I think they did manage to salvage it, and on paper it was a good window. But I sound a bit negative, but I still maintain that our transfer policy is just not sustainable. I think every window we seem to lose good players for cheap now, and we're not bringing in the same quality. Yeah. I think over time. So I think now, for example, now we've brought in Obafemi and Cham and that, and I think they're great signings, great addition to the squad. But then we're in a position now where we'll probably lose a couple next summer. Maybe they'll stay. If Cham plays well, he may go.
I've got a bit on someone that might go that we're going to touch on later on. So that'll be interesting to discuss. But I don't want to spoil that yet. So I know you're saying, and I do agree with you. I think the policy maybe there's question marks. I think, like you said, on paper, this window, I don't think it's been that bad. We just need to adapt some of the situation. And I think the problems aren't problems of the transfer window. They're problems of the way that we deal with players' contracts overall.
Yeah, I think, but what I'm getting at is, they replace players then with, frees or loans. So, for example, we sold Connor Roberts, fair enough. We expected him to go. But now our right-back options are Led and Norton. And Norton is probably due retirement any season now, and Led is a loan. You've essentially going to lose 3 players at some point there in one position.
Yeah, I do get you. I think
it's on the edge, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 2 ways you could look at it, because you could say you're taking advantage of the free transfer market, because especially this season with COVID, a lot of contracts ran out. So if you can be wise here and save the money here, maybe the long term that's good for us. Like, Winter actually came out and said, I was going to put this in the news section later, but it's relevant to this. So Winter actually came out and said the club's in a really good financial position right now, which does kind of add up because we kept on to Grimes where everyone thought we're just going to take the money for him. And it's just nice to hear that after the last couple of years, especially with the parachutes ending. Because if they have stabilised it, you know, that just means like, yeah, we probably will have to sell someone to buy people potentially and stuff like that. But it doesn't mean we necessarily have to sell multiple and have a fire sale which covers a black hole and then we don't see that money put in. Because even though we, like, you know, there wasn't much money spent in the Championship this season because of COVID. You've got clubs going into administration, which we're going to touch on later. Maybe not necessarily because of COVID, but it could be worse. And it's just, it looks like maybe we've like come down. If you've got like a graph, you know, we've come down. Maybe we're in that bit where you're like kind of like touching the bottom. In terms of the financial transfer side, and it might start going hopefully the other way where we can maybe build like Brentford did, keep players, and I don't know, hopefully.
And I'm being ultra harsh. That's just that's my take on it. But hopefully, like you said,
that's fine.
If they've done it this way to, so maybe next season we've got a bit of money that we can start building the squad.
Yeah.
On what we've got, then fair enough. But
we'll put it this way,
see on that one. Watch your space.
Some parts of the squad we got good depth. Like for example, Fulton and Smith can't get in the team at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just go on to talk about the football. I've actually come straight from football. I've been playing five-a-side, which is why I'm dressed like this. We had to rush this out because Lee is needs to be off later. So if we do abruptly finish, that's the reasons. But we should get a good hour in, so hopefully we can get through what we need to get through. But before we get started, as always, if you enjoy our content, please subscribe. We're really trying to hit 500 subscribers and then 1,000. That's our main goal. So thanks everyone who has so far. But if you do enjoy, please just click that red button. Really helps us. And leave a like as well, because that allows more people then to see our stuff and enable us to grow further. We're most active on Twitter. If you want to follow our social medias and Instagram, we are trying to use the others more, so they should all be linked in the description anyway. You can find the podcast if you don't want to watch the video format on Spotify. Just type in Swans Cast on there and it should come up. And finally, if you want to get involved in a new app called Fan Hub, I got some codes. It's just a bit of fun for fans. You get to predict the team, you get to watch our stuff and a lot of other content from our club and other clubs. Like if we're playing obviously Brighton next, you'll be able to look at what their fans think of the match. And it's got a mini league table where you compete against each other, like other fans, essentially. Whoever, gets the best predictions, etc., goes to the top of the table, and the top 3 fans every month do get a set of free tickets. So I got codes for that, so send us a message if you want one, or I'll put it out on Twitter. And yeah, get involved. So anyway, moving on. So we're going to touch on the 3 games that we've missed. So that is Swans against Hull and Millwall at home and against Luton away. Obviously, the drama that unfolded there. We're going to maybe touch on how the new style is shaping up and how the new transfers are fitting into the club and the system. Also, maybe we'll ask some questions like, when are we going to start winning? So that's the sort of stuff we're going to be discussing today. Got a bit of news involving Steve Cooper, which I know he's not Swansea manager anymore, but I'm sure people will be interested to know. And we are actually then going to the Brighton game midweek, so we're going to look ahead to the cup match, and also be playing Huddersfield then in the league next week. So we'll end off with a pre-match sort of discussion on those. Right, so since we last spoke, been 3 matches. Obviously, you went to the first 2, didn't you? Or you didn't go to Millwall, you were away. You went to
I was flying back in the game. I went to the whole game.
I feel like they're quite similar in 0-0s. What was your take on what you saw from Millwall and Hull?
I think they're quite similar, really. Just, all the ball. Again, teams sitting back. I think we're going to see a lot of it now, where our card is marked, where teams are going to come down here and just sit behind the ball, let us have 70-80% possession. And he's got to find a way to break it down. I mean, he's got new combinations there, and you can sort of tell that they still need to learn how to sort of gel together in terms of going forward. the games you could see, we had all the ball and just no sort of cutting edge, especially the Hull game. I think we had better chances in the Millwall game for the highlights I've seen, because the Hull game, I can't remember us having like a good chance. I don't think all the ball we had. I don't think the keeper made a great save. But only the free kick, obviously from Grimes, which he pulled out of the top corner.
I've got the two.
But apart from that, I don't think we created much.
Yeah, I've got the two stats in front of me. In both games, we had 4 shots on target. So 16 in the Hull game and 12 total shots in the Millwall, but 4 on target in each. Obviously, both had good free kicks from Grimes, and also Millwall, Walsh nearly scored from a free kick as well. So there's 2 of the shots. One his might have been just wide. I can't remember.
I think I did save it.
It might have been the save. So there's 2 of the shots for the Millwall game. We were unlucky though in Millwall, because Patterson should have put us 1-0 up before half time. He basically had a tap in and just managed to.
Yeah, I saw that. Sky didn't
lift it over. But yeah, again, you're right. All the ball, 69% against Hull, 64% against Millwall. They are just sitting back. They're not exactly smashing us either. Hull had 4 shots. Millwall had a bit more. You'd expect that, though. Hull had promoted last year. They had 10. And that is, like we said at the start, it was a problem last season, our attack, and it's still a problem now. And it's just getting that clicking, because I feel like the rest of the game's coming together. From what I saw from the Millwall game, they weren't making as many silly moves and mistakes at the back. But then I didn't see much of Luton, but it sounds like some of them returned there. Maybe away.
Yeah.
The home versus away thing there is.
Yeah, but this is what I was saying. I think we know what's going to happen now. Every time we go away from home, teams are going to press us high up and be a bit more aggressive, and they're going to force those mistakes. And then at home, teams are just going to sit in deep and just let us have the ball.
Yeah.
But again, that's what he's got to address at the moment, isn't it?
Definitely. In terms of team selection for both the Hull and Millwall game, I cannot call his teams at the moment. I literally have not managed to put 100% accuracy in once this season. I wasn't expecting Hamer to come in for Bender. Not that I think it's a bad decision. He's done really well as far as I'm concerned. Although something happened with him at the Luton game and the fans were giving him a bit of stick.
Yeah, of course they were.
And he turned round and apparently acknowledged it in a certain way.
Yeah, but how ridiculous is that?
It is ridiculous. I don't know the full details of what happened. It depends what you believe from Twitter, essentially. So I'm not going to confirm anything. Some people saying that they were calling him rubbish, and he turned around and said, "Yeah, I know." Some people were saying he was telling them to F off, but I don't think that was the case. But why? Why? I know it's not nice to see a team 3-0 down, but from what I saw, he wasn't really at fault for any of the goals against Luton.
No, I don't think he could have done anything for the goals. More the defence was shocking, wasn't it? For those 3 goals in the first 20 odd minutes, wasn't it?
And he made some really good saves and put in 2 good performances against Hull and Millwall. Millwall especially, I thought, because, and this is where I'm going to talk about my biggest issue from the Millwall game specifically. I didn't see the Hull game, and it might have been a bigger issue at Millwall because it was the second game in a week. But the fitness is still not there. So Millwall came into the game the last 15 to 20 minutes or so, had more chances, and Hamer did make some good saves, and SofaScore actually gave him an 8.1 rating, which was our man of the match, considering we had 64% possession and more shots theoretically. He had the highest rating on the pitch. I don't know what you think about it, and it's not Russell Martin's fault in the slightest. It's literally a end product of the shambles of our summer, but our fitness, and it's only been highlighted so much because of the way that he wants to play.
We're definitely still paying the price for our slow movement in the summer. Definitely still playing catch up.
I don't think we need to be as fit to play Steve Cooper's system as well.
I know the fitness isn't there. Also, I think some players have adapted well to it and some others haven't. So that's still an issue as well. Plus the fitness, so I think we're definitely not there yet.
Yeah, Ryan was basically on the floor against Millwall at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was similar in the Hull game. I think Hull had a good chance right at the end where they could have nicked a 1-0.
So that is something that, and it's difficult because you just go match after match now. How do you fix that, really, without a pre-season? You're just playing games, and it will get better as you play in the games, but it's just annoying that as a result of that, you're always going to have a period at the end where the other team, if they're fitter than you, is going to come into it naturally. It's always going to make life difficult. unless you get a rocket up your ass, which seemed to happen at half-time against Luton, and we'll discuss Luton, I think, a little bit more in a second. But yeah, for me, after the Millwall game, I just thought, because we deserved to win against Millwall from what I watched. We deserved. I thought we were making good opportunities. More than what we were before the international break. It still needs to be better. But because
he is coming.
As soon as the fitness went, we were just done then. And Obafemi came on, but we couldn't get him in the game.
Yeah, I think it has been better since the international break after the signings. I think, another day, we should have beaten Hull as well. We had enough, if Grimes' free kick goes in the first half, the keeper's made a worldie save. Could be a different game, we could go on and win 2-3-0 then with all the ball that we have. Same in the Millwall game, if one of those chances goes in, the Patterson one especially, one of those goes in, it's a different game, and you could be sitting on 7 points in a week. But yeah, they just got to take the chances.
Yeah. So I know people don't like looking at the SofaScore ratings necessarily as like how good a player was or whatever. I definitely think it's some sort of indication because they're compiling that number from somewhere, like the stats and stuff. I know it's not definitely 100% accurate, but it can give you an idea. Anyway, my point is, Matt Grimes was getting a lot of stick again after the 2 home games. Don't know if you saw.
Why though?
Apparently he doesn't move the ball quick enough and he passes backwards too much.
All right, let me jump on this because this is something that is really starting to bug me. Our fans are going to just destroy this playing style anyway at the moment. Moaned enough last year. They wanted better football. How many people said to you, to both of us, I would sacrifice results for playing better football. All right, fair enough. This is what we've got now. So that's what we've got, right? So now that we've got that, and we are sacrificing results to try and change the playing style, they're not happy again. Home games are becoming unbearable to watch when you're in the stadium, because all you ever get is forward. Why are you passing it backward?
Yeah, but you asked for this style of football. You literally asked for this style of football.
You have asked for this style of football. You move the ball around, sometimes slow, sometimes quicker. You move it around. That's what they want, possession football. And also you get shoot from 30, 40 yards out. So if I'm not mistaken, that's like Cooper style football, isn't it? Or what people thought. Getting it forward quicker and shooting on sight.
Well, they don't know what they want, honestly. Literally, right? We had the Swansea. They used to do it when we did the Swansea way, but I don't understand how you can ask for this passing football. We want to keep the ball. We want high possession. Yeah, we want to win, and that's not what we're doing at the moment. But it's you've got to build it. You can't just overnight click to this. You know what I mean? Man City. The backwards passing thing does me head in, right? Man City last season in the Premier League, yeah, they're a far better team. They've got world-class players, but they also passed backwards more than any other team in the Premier League last season. They registered more backwards passes and they won the league. And the reason why Matt Grimes is passing the ball backwards? Because he hasn't got an option on a lot of the time. Yeah, granted, he misses 1 or 2 where he probably could have played someone in. But that's part of the style, unfortunately. You're never going to play the right move every single time.
Well, yeah, like you said, what happens then if he tries to play a pass forward?
Gives it away.
Quicker and gives it away, he gets slated again.
Yeah. So the reason they pass it back is because theoretically he passes it to the centre-back. The centre-back can now see more of the pitch in front of him, and he can see there's people running towards him to close him down most of the time. And that sometimes then, that movement, because Matt Grimes now doesn't have a player marking him, that player is probably running towards the centre-back. That creates a space. Sometimes it might go back to Grimes, who's now in a pocket somewhere, and he can then turn and play it forward. Or it might go to the other centre-backs, and they'll pass it around that way, shift the team left, shift the team right, and now there's a gap to go forward. That's literally the whole idea of the style of play. That's literally what Roberto Martinez did. It's literally what Brendan Rodgers did. It's literally what Michael Laudrup did. Maybe they did it slightly different, and they didn't necessarily have, the goalkeeper taking as many risks, which is something that people have pointed out, whatever. But this is a new way of playing under Russell Martin. They also didn't play with 3 at the back in terms of the centre-backs. So it is slightly different. It's kind of as the way that the game is at the moment, this is a popular formation with that style of football. And the Luton game, I think, when we go into this in a second, highlights exactly why we need to be patient. And literally there's no better example of why we need to be patient and jumping on the team at home, 2-0. Yeah, okay, we didn't win, we didn't score, but they also managed to defend quite well at home. And I know teams are going to come down here and sit back, and that's fine. Used to happen all the time back in the day as well. And
of course it did.
There was other periods, but it's up to us to score that first goal, and that's just what we need to get right at the moment.
I said, we're hoping that it's going to click soon enough. You say about Man City, but I know it's obviously a different level of players, but you watch the old Barcelona under Pep Guardiola, the amount of times that Xavi and Iniesta will not be moving and just passing the ball back and forth to each other.
Yep.
They're doing like 3 or 4 passes, and then they just wait, they go back, they wait, they're patient, and then all of a sudden someone sparks into a bit of space, and they're into life then. But it's just getting on my nerves now because, like, what do you want? Like, it's just so much moaning going on. Let's just moan for the sake of moaning. We hated the football under Cooper, but we were winning. Oh, let's get him out because we don't like the football. Now we're playing good football. Oh, but you're passing it backwards too much. Oh, yeah.
And then
the same thing with players. We've got this like, massive cancel culture where it's like, Grimes was playing all right. He maybe didn't have his best game against Millwall, and Walsh came on and played all right off the bench. But then instantly, Grimes has got to be dropped. Walsh has got to start the next game.
And then Walsh didn't play very well against Luton, so
you've got to have a bit of consistency. And it was the same. It was the same to a certain extent. Like Whittaker scored a hat trick against Plymouth. All right, fair enough, great hat trick. But then instantly, because he scored the hat trick, Cullen is rubbish. Oh, get rid of him. Absolutely rubbish because Whittaker scored a hat trick.
And I said this at the time. Whittaker wasn't even the best player then on that day. He just scored the goals. Like, he had a good game and he done his job. But he wasn't like, if he had the exact same game without those finishes, no one's talking about him. And I'm not saying don't give him credit because he deserves credit for scoring, but he didn't do anything else in that game really. I was far more impressed with, in terms of actually making stuff happen, Kyle Joseph, which is what I said at the time. He had a much better game for me, and he's playing wing back. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. And the reason I mentioned Sofa score at the start and Grimes, he had a 7.7 best outfield player, best player for us against Hull, and he had a 7.3 joint best outfield player against us against Millwall. And like I said, I know people don't always think they're good things to go on, but that's come from somewhere. He's doing his job. He's doing what the manager's asked him, and the reason the manager keeps picking him is not because he's captain, it's because he wants him in the team. The reason why they didn't sell him in the first place. But the reason he's getting so much stick as well is literally because we haven't scored that many goals, and everyone's got in their head that if we had signed Fosu instead, we would be so much better going forward. Well, I'm sorry, right, and I got to say this. Fosu couldn't hardly get into the Brentford team last season in the Championship, who played attacking football and scored goals for fun. And he's not even making their bench in the Premier League. So why is it all important that he comes in now?
But also, I've seen people say that actually, like, we'd be scoring goals now magically if we got rid of Grimes and brought Fosu in. How many attacking midfield players do you want to play? Got to play Grimes and Downs in there. Then we've got maybe 3 attacking players then. So if you take Grimes out and put another attack-minded midfield player in there, we're completely open.
Well, they don't want to necessarily play him instead of Grimes. They just rather him in the squad because some people are saying Downs is showing Grimes up, which I don't think so. I think they are doing different jobs.
But what happens now if Fosu was in there? Who'd you drop? You drop in Cham? You drop in Patterson? Who you drop in?
Patterson or
just playing Fulton instead of Grimes. I don't understand what difference that makes.
Well, if you ask Twitter, Corey Smith can do the same job as Grimes, so can Downs, so can Walsh. But yeah, they're all experts. So I mean, I just don't understand the criticism for him.
It's just erratic, isn't it? Again, we said about it every season. We've got a scapegoat. Obviously, it's been Grimes since we've been relegated.
Norton when we were in the Premier League was a scapegoat. First year under Potter, doing exactly the same thing as what he's doing now.
Yeah. He's going to be the scapegoat all season.
Yeah. And he was doing it from left back a lot of the season, and then he got put into midfield doing literally the same thing, passing back, keeping the ball, moving the ball around. That's what he's doing now. Literally what he's doing now. And as far as I'm concerned, right, as much as I just defended the passing backwards thing, from what I've actually watched, he's passed the ball forward a lot more times than what he would have done last year. He's finding players, he's putting it out right to Ethan Laird, he's putting it out left to Manning. He's literally like, I don't understand. And then he passes one ball backwards, but all of a sudden, that one ball he's played backwards cancels out the 5 that he played, like to the wingers or to like Patterson. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
I think we're gonna have to strap in because it's gonna be like this all season.
Yeah.
And just probably as a moving on point, like when we were 3-0 down at half time, my reaction was like not so much, oh my god, we're losing 3-0. I was like, I am not looking forward to the Huddersfield game next week because it's going to be Hence, I could have just imagined the uproar if we'd lost that game 3-4-0 on Saturday, going into that home game on Saturday against Huddersfield.
Yeah. Anyway, enough on Grimes, enough on those two games. Let's talk about Luton a little bit, because that one was actually a bit exciting. Well, second half was. You watched a bit of the first half, you said, up to 2-0.
Yeah, I was out there. To be fair, the defending was awful. We say how good Norton is. I don't know what he was doing for that second one when he gave away the penalty. Awful defending. Awful for the first one. Long throw in. Bennett sort of heads it into someone's back, and it drops to someone. And they were just all over the place in the first half.
Yeah,
all over the place. They looked like they did against Preston away. Every time the ball came forward, we just looked all over the place. Like the defenders they didn't know where they needed to be or anything.
I'm going to stick up for the defence a little bit though. Not necessarily because they have made mistakes, but out of all the team, I said it's hard to predict the team. There's been a lot of changes in them 3 centre-backs.
Yeah.
I know some was injuries, but that's just not going to help. I'm not trying to make excuses, but sometimes you get the most solid defending when you know your partnership. And
you're spot on. And this is what I was saying earlier about, having a cancel culture where you say someone plays bad, therefore they need to be dropped on the weekend.
Yeah.
We've got to have consistency. He's obviously still trying to look at his combinations. Once he gets it, we should have a consistent team then each week, barring 1 or 2 changes. Yeah, definitely you're right about the defending.
I have to say as well, I'm really sorry because I know you love Ryan Bennett, but I just don't think he's it for this system.
No, I did, to be honest.
I think he suited us last year under Cooper. I've gone from wanting him there, like, solid at the back, like, old-fashioned defensive, like, no nonsense, to, like, I just don't... When someone's running at him, I'm like, oh...
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, you can put your mortgage on yellow card for Bennett every game. Most games, couldn't you?
And I feel sorry for Brandon Cooper, because I thought he was the one that was, like, doing quite well in the system. And I know he made some mistakes, but he's young as well. So I thought he was really adapting to it, and he could grow into it a little bit more. He's not even making a bench at the moment, but it's tough because how do you leave Cabango out and then Latibodi is still there? Again, there's a lot of depth here in centre-back.
Yeah, like I said, our squad on paper at the moment is the best it's been for a while, because when you look at our bench, we've got such a strong bench these days. We just seem to have, like, Whittaker's not even in the matchday squad anymore, like Danda doesn't even get on the bench. Like you said, Brandon Cooper.
Oh yeah, Danda.
Some good players not even making the matchday squad.
We might see Danda. You love Danda. You might see him at Brighton now.
Yeah.
I bet he's, like, spewing, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't understand why he didn't let... I don't know why he didn't let, like, Whittaker go on loan and Danda, maybe. But then again, if you get injuries, you get a lot of games coming.
To Lincoln, wasn't he? But
yeah, you get a lot of injuries now, don't you? And a lot more games come Christmas time as well, so...
Yeah. Yeah, so Norton obviously made an error, didn't he? That penalty. I'm not sure if it was a penalty, mind. The thing that he did wrong was before the penalty incident for me. Like, he gives the ball away in a stupid place.
Yeah, I think it was soft.
He does a tackle and then doesn't deal with it, something like that. And then I'm not sure that it's a penalty though.
He goes down easy. It was just the mistake leading up to it. They seem to always give them, don't they, when, like, the defenders give the ball away. And
I guess it's karma because of that one he had a Stoke last year.
Yeah.
Comes back round. Yeah. It's fair play. So everyone moaning last year about us and penalties, right? The curse is done. We've had our own back. It's like leave it on the table. Yeah, Keith Cooper, you don't care anymore. So none of this slander from all these other teams. Swansea only score when they get penalties. All this crap. We should have had 2, and actually we didn't even mention we should have had 2 against Millwall or Hull or whatever it was.
Oh my God, Hull. The lead one against Hull. That was bad.
Yeah.
How we didn't get that, I'll never know. And how Lansbury didn't get sent off for the man in assault.
I mean, right, so the context of that is, isn't it? They got a free kick and Manning, for some reason, I don't know why he's doing it, Manning's like walking towards the ball. Just as Manning's arriving at the ball, kind of like looking at the floor, like it looks like you've just lost the game 5-0 already at that point, the way he's walking. Anyway, he's walking towards the ball and he just sort of like very mildly toe pokes it away. But literally at the same time, Lansbury's coming in to like hoof it upfield. However, when I say literally at the same time, he can definitely stop kicking that ball he knows exactly what he's doing, and he just absolutely punts the ankle or shin of Manning. Like, do you know, like, if you're literally doing a goal kick and you swing your leg, that's literally what he did to like Manning's ankle / shin area. And look, I understand that he was trying to pull a fast one or whatever, and there'd be a bit of argy-bargy afterwards, but I don't understand the Luton players then shouting at Manning, trying to grab him for, like, shouting at him on the floor. Like, yeah, okay, he's kicked the ball away, but who doesn't kick the ball away in football? Fair enough, book him for kicking the ball away, but it doesn't mean you should literally try to break his ankle. Like, you can't defend that. Yeah. I don't care if you're his teammate. Like, you're like, okay, I'm walking away from this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. I can't believe the rest.
I find it hard to even be angry about it because it's that funny. I've seen, like, it's everywhere now, isn't it? The video of it's all over Twitter.
The way that Sky and now it's tweeting about it as well, with like the face, like, like that's definitely been a red. Like, I understand Manning has done wrong as well, and he got a yellow card, and I'm not saying he shouldn't. He should maybe get kicking the ball away as a yellow card. Fair enough.
Yeah, but they're 3-0 up at that point.
No, I know they are, but I'm saying, like, if you're going to go by the rules and play by the book, kicking the ball away is a yellow card. I'm not complaining about that. But essentially kicking a guy off the ball, booting him like that, and it could have broke his ankle or something, that should be a red card. Just because he's done wrong first doesn't mean the second wrong more acceptable. Because that's kind of what it seemed like the ref viewed it as.
Yeah.
Which is a bit retarded. But
that video, it just makes me laugh. He just absolutely comes and kicks his legs up.
He's tweeted about it.
Did something like, has anyone seen a pair of shins or something?
Yeah, up in Luton, because let me know.
That's terrible, that is. That's so bad.
Fair play to him, got up and carried
on. Well, to be fair, like, I know, like I said earlier, it could have been a different week. If we got the penalty against Hull, which we definitely should have got, the red card obviously didn't make that much of a difference.
They had an open net against Luton right at the end.
Yeah, so, it could have been a really, really different week.
Yeah. Anyway, the other two Luton goals, do you know much about them? Because you watched the first half, or?
Yeah, I said about the first one, didn't I? It was the long throw into the box.
What's the other one then? We had the penalty, so...
Can't remember what the third one was.
Oh, it was a good finish, that one, in the box, mind. It was like a scissor kick, wasn't it?
It dropped to him nice, and then... what was the third one?
I can't remember, because I couldn't bear to watch.
I can't remember the third one.
I couldn't bear to watch the first half highlights, but regardless...
I've seen all the goals, I just can't remember what the goal was.
Hairdryer treatment comes out. Definitely at half-time, I would imagine. We actually ended the game with 15 shots against Luton's 16, so massive tale of two halves here. 5 shots on target for Luton, 4 for us, and we actually had 73% possession. I think we had something ridiculous in terms of possession in the first half, which makes it even more like unbelievable that Luton were winning with like under 30% possession, 3-0.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is what I mean by we need to be patient, because the first half was bad, right? It was really bad, didn't click at all, and that might happen again. It probably will happen again at some point before it like calms down into some sort of rhythm. But the second half is what can happen when it works. Like, as much as maybe something happened to Luton that, but how would you drop a 3-goal lead like that? Like, you have to credit us for coming out and playing well. They probably wouldn't. They're probably expecting a bounce, but I think Sham deserves a lot of credit. He came on and kind of bossed that midfield. I think he came on centre mid, did he?
I was so impressed with him anyway. I was so impressed with him against Hull as well. Like what I saw, I thought he was the best player on the pitch against Hull, and then he came off quite early, didn't he? And I think it was the same against... He started against Millwall?
Yeah, he started the other two.
So maybe he's not quite match fit yet, and then he came on, didn't he?
He said he's not quite match fit because he's been free, isn't he?
Yeah, it's another thing you've got to wait for, And then we said about fitness.
Obafemi and Perot's still not 100%. That's why he didn't start.
When those three get match fit, Obafemi, Perot, and Cham, I think this is going to be dangerous going forward. Well, especially what we saw on Saturday.
All 3 goals we scored were outside the box. So Patterson's one was obviously a deflection, but he's got the space and he's taken the chance. Did
you see one where he hit the bar as well?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, that was a hell of a strike. Before he scored, he hit one from outside the box and hit the bar, and that was a hell of a strike.
Didn't Luton also hit the post just before he scored?
Oh yeah, they should have scored that mine for 4-0. Or it should have been 4.
So it could have been different there. But obviously we go up the other end, we score. I mean, we perhaps needed a bit of luck at that point to get back in, but the one goal gives you a bit of a bounce. So that was in the 63rd minute. The second comes then. I actually listened to the last 15 minutes in the car on the way home from work. Cabango essentially was playing as a striker, I think, for the last 15 minutes from where I was hearing on the radio. He actually got the assist from Nsham's goal. And this one, right, we were talking about this before the podcast. People said it's deflection. From the highlights we saw, I can't quite make out if it is or not, but if it isn't, it's an absolute thunderbolt of a strike. It dips like anything I've ever seen. Hell of a goal.
Yeah. I didn't think it was a deflection myself, but then the highlights I watched, they said in the commentary that it was deflection. I can't tell. I can't tell if it's as it dips.
The guy bends over as it goes over him, so I don't know if he ducked out of the way or if it actually is back and that's what causes the big dip. Regardless, you've got to take it on to score, haven't you? And it was a good thump.
Great strike. Buffett, he scored a screamer as well. He lifts it over the defender and then tries to lift it over the keeper as well. It was class.
And then Perot with the third goal from outside the box as well. He loves a little bit of a left foot.
Perot is, just what I've seen of him, I just think he's going to be dangerous. If they can feed him the service and give him chances, he's going to score goals. He hasn't had much service so far, has he? Was he on 3 league goals now?
Yeah, he's on 4 altogether, and he's
with limited service. I think if he gets chances, he's going to start burying them. You can see that he's got an eye for goal, so I'm excited for that. And if he can get that combination working between, if he's going to play, Patterson and Cham, Obafemi and Pro, whichever he picks out of those 4. Yeah. He plays 3 out of the 4 in different games. If they can click, I think we could be on to a winner. Well,
Obafemi's looked quite exciting as well. He was unlucky not to score against Millwall. He put one just wide of the post. He probably should have scored that chance, but he was his first or second game at that point. And here, obviously, he's started. He's been involved till the end, and when it clicks, his pace is definitely something that we need to use. I would say he's probably going to play, if they play at the same time, he's probably going to have Obafemi leading the line with Perot behind. I don't know if it'd be better with the other way round, so Obafemi can run past him. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Be interesting. To be fair, before Saturday's game, I kept thinking that Patterson will miss out. He'll play in Cham and Perot behind with Obafemi up front, but I think you can drop Patterson. Because he plays well. He scored the goal on Saturday at the bar. Yeah. He looks lively. So it's good competition.
Yeah, so out of the other new signings then, Rhys Williams, how do you think he's been getting on? Did he get a tough day? Did he go off injured in this one or did he just get subbed? Struggled?
I think he just took him off. I don't know how fit he is.
Well, there was something to do with him having a bit of a racial slur.
Oh, yeah.
Well. So I don't know if it was linked to that.
Yeah, maybe.
It's not good though. I believe he was a Luton fan.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, but when the details come out about that, it'll be interesting. But just, it's another example of something we've spoken about before. Just don't like to see it.
Yeah, I think, just on, there's not much more we can say about that. Again, it's ridiculous that it's still going on. But just on the footballing side of things, I haven't only saw him really against Hull on Saturday, so seemed a bit rusty. But yeah, not really much to comment on at the moment with him.
I saw Liam
there was one ball that got played in behind him, and it took him about 3 days to turn and chase back.
Is he not the quickest?
I don't think he's that quick.
I saw Liam Cullen dropped out of the bench for Corey Smith, but interestingly, Felton's been on the bench for the last 3 games and hasn't got on. Now, we're going to transition, I think, here, because I think let's just end this section on Luton and we'll transition to what I want to say about Felton. So, how do you make of so far then? Is the style coming together, or do we have any concerns that we need to address and talk about?
I don't know, to be honest. Apart from having 70% possession and stuff like that, I can't really see what he's quite trying to implement, if that makes sense. I can't really see what he's trying to do.
I guess, obviously we didn't manage to see the second half against Luton, so that's probably what you would want to judge. Second half.
But I mean, that's different. I mean, it could be a turning point of the season where have to score goals then. You know, the shackles are off, you're 3-0 down, you've got to go and score goals, and they can do it. So maybe that'll be an example going forward. Like, you can sort of throw a bit of caution to the wind and get some more bodies forward at times during games. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to work it out. I'm still patient, but at what point do we need to start getting some wins on the board? So I'm a bit.
We're still
on the edge at the moment.
Not too bad at the moment. We are at a bad end of the table, but it looks worse than what it is, because one win can put us up to like where Luton are, so that's 13.
Yeah, I know it's still early doors. But
2 wins can put us into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's still early doors, isn't it? But I mean, he's obviously got the 3 at the back with the wing backs, and then Downs and Grimes in the middle. And then does he sort of play like 2 behind the striker, it seems like? Which is odd to me, like having 2.
Well, it might be dependent. He did say, actually, in one of his interviews the other day, he can interchange it. Sometimes they'll play 2 strikers, sometimes they'll play 2 behind the striker.
Yeah, I guess that's a benefit of it. He could change, go to sort of a 3 up front, or a 1 behind with a 2, or
I find Liam Walsh starting in one of those positions a bit odd. I didn't think that was his role. So I wonder if we'll see him there much over the season, or whether it's just a case of where he's fitting in at the moment while everyone's getting up to speed. But yeah, I think like there's a lot of players in there now that are only just starting to come into the team. So there's Obafemi, there's Walsh, there's obviously Sham, Reece Williams. It's only 3 games into them being at the club, and they're all players that are literally involved in the team. And then Laird hasn't even been there that much longer, and obviously Patterson and Perot a little bit again longer, but there's over half the team that have all come in the summer. So 8 games, it's not long enough to have a proper opinion, like final opinion.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I don't. It is hard to have an opinion. Like I said, I'm still struggling to see what type of game he's trying to play, but I think we want to see improvement, which we have got over the last couple of games. I mean, apart from the first half against Luton, I think we've played all right in the 3 games, minus scoring the goals. But we are desperate for results. I think I know it's only 8 games into the season, but if you're getting into October, November time and you're still not picking up the points, the pressure starts to pile on then, doesn't it?
So we got Huddersfield next. We're going to talk about it in a minute. They're doing quite well, but it could be an opportunity, but we'll see. Anyway, any final words on what we've seen so far before we move on to the news?
No, not really. It's exciting so far. I mean, like we said, it's quite intriguing to see how the players we got up front, they all seem exciting. If you can get them to gel, and I'm excited to see it, and I think it could work.
Yeah.
So I'm quite optimistic, but I want to see. We need some points on the board.
Yeah. I mean, I think it will come soon. You've got to ask how long till we start getting worried, but I think it still needs a bit more time. I've always maintained, judge the first half of the season compared to the second half, and I think it will show. I think he did take a bit of time to get going at MK Dons, so I'm still intrigued to see where I was going to go. Anyway, let's move on. So, word on Wine Street then. So the only main things I got is obviously Steve Cooper has been linked to Nottingham Forest, and it looks like it might be a done deal. I was talking to some Forest fans. They've asked us to come on their podcast to discuss him. So they seem very confident that he's coming in. I think they said he was like 1 to 12 on or something. So yeah, but then we had managers that were heavily favoured that didn't end up coming in the summer, so maybe not. But
yeah.
Anyway, if he does go there, we had to do a compensation fee of, I believe, 1.2 million because of a contract clause they inserted with him after he left.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like, if he gets a job within the time that he would have been employed by us, I believe that club's got to pay a fee, part of the mutual consent leaving agreement.
Oh, that's odd. Usually, like, the contract's over there, isn't it?
Pochettino in it. That's why he didn't get a job for so long, because there was a large fee involved there.
Makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, he'd probably be a good fit for a club like that, I reckon.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great fit. I think he would.
Yeah.
I think he'll get them
his
tickets.
Style of football, they wouldn't be too bothered by it. and it's been successful, so they could be getting back up.
Again, no, we got to be careful when we say about Cooper's style of football. It wasn't like it's obviously not the same style of football as us.
I'm just talking from like what.
No, I know. No, I know you think the same as me when we've talked about it before. It wasn't horrendous football. It wasn't completely like Route 1 football, was it?
No.
It was a little bit more pragmatic in the sense that you've got bodies behind the ball, and you sort of pick your opportunities to strike. But when they do, they did. We scored some tidy goals last year. We played some good stuff in patches.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think he could be good at Forest. I think it'll be a watch this space if he goes in there. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. The only thing that I wanted to say on that as well, in regards to Felton, is they've already been linked with him, and he hasn't been in the squad. So.
Oh, have they?
Yeah. He hasn't been in the starting squad. He hasn't got off the bench. So he might. If they did come in for him, I could see him going because we're quite stacked in midfield. I'd be a bit disappointed by it because I do like Felton, but
it
doesn't look like Martin's necessarily fully like. I don't know where he is in the midfield pecking order. It's difficult to tell right now, but he won't be happy if he's still in this situation after Christmas where he's hardly playing.
That's interesting, and let's see if he can get any more pull with. Oh, by the way, speaking of like players at Cooper. How well is Morgan Gibbs-White playing for Sheffield United? It's heartbreaking to watch.
All of a sudden, they're banging in the goals, aren't they?
But he's absolutely tearing up the show. Gibbs-White is. It's just horrible to watch because that should have been us last season.
Yeah.
Even if they could have got him back in this season, he's absolutely flying.
If he was with us all year without getting injured and he stayed with us all year and he played like that, might be in the Premier League right now.
Yeah. He's a class player. I mean, in all fairness, since he's gone in there and started playing, obviously they were struggling, weren't they?
They smashed someone the other day, didn't they?
Yeah, Peterborough, and they're like 5-2 or something, I think.
Yeah, but like they still had to do it. They've been crap up until then. But I saw it because it stood out that they'd scored quite a few goals. 6-2.
Yeah.
Did Brewster and McBurney score yet?
I'm not sure, but I know Gibbs-White so far. I'm not sure how many games he's played for them, but 2 goals and 2 assists.
Yeah, he scored against Peterborough, and there's no. I don't think they scored. No, they drew 2-2 with Preston. He scored in that game. Oh, and Sander Burge, like our midfield, Burge and him.
Yeah,
they'll be back up in the playoffs now.
Yeah, they'll be
a
back.
rocky start, but they're going to be back up there. We said that they'd be competing, didn't we?
I think the golfing class, like we said about the top 4, to me, it will come.
Yeah,
those 4 teams will be up there. Sheffield United will come back, and
the other bit of news then: Derby County going into administration. I just feel a bit like hard done for Wickham because
it
took like 2 months into the season, and it was all that fuss about like them potentially swapping places because of the shambles that Derby was anyway, and now they've gone into administration anyway. So it was like, I mean they're going to get a points deduction now probably, so they'll probably go down this season.
I think they instantly get 12, don't they? I think they instantly get a 12 point, but apparently it could rise to 24.
Well, they haven't had it yet because they're still 12th in the league on 10 points.
I'm sure they will get. Sure, you get 12 points instantly if you went to administration. No?
Maybe it just needs to be confirmed by like the league.
Yeah.
Before everyone's going to update their tables and stuff. But they actually beat Stoke on a weekend. Derby's like they've gone into administration. All the players all of a sudden like.
I know that was a coupon buster. That was, wasn't it?
Well, it busted mine. I'll tell you that. Yeah. And Fulham lost to Reading.
Yeah.
Although I didn't put them in because the odds were so low, it wasn't even worth it, and then they didn't even win. So if you had Reading, well done. I mean, I feel a bit sorry for them. I don't know how they're affording Wayne Rooney. Like that's just a shambles at Derby. But it's another side.
It's been on the cards for a while, though. I remember how did they manage to bring Rooney in? Because he played for them for a bit first, didn't he?
Yeah.
And they brought him in as like a player coach. So then
the sponsor, wasn't it? Like the 32 Red, and he put 32 on his shirt and all that.
Yeah, but apparently it was something to do with like they didn't break financial fair play because they brought him in as a player coach, so they could pay him a lot more wages. So how much exactly were they paying him, considering they're in
the system, and then 2 years later now they're in administration. So says it all. Something's broken there. Like it's not good. Okay, moving on then. So I actually thought of a name for our last section because we said we couldn't think of one. So I called it the build-up.
Nice.
But I mean, if they've got something better, then. But yeah, so we got Brighton versus Swansea this week. We're actually going down, so we're quite excited for that. So it's Potter versus Martin. Have
you seen how well Brighton are doing though? I think they're 4th at the moment.
Well, hopefully, because they're doing so well, they'll play all their reserves.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So talking about that, then, are we going to play our first team, or are we going to rotate?
I think he will rotate, but for me, again, I said about the other cup games, we're desperate to find combinations. I think he needs to play some of the first team players. They need game time together.
It'll be a good mix. Maybe you'll see the likes of Walsh back in there. Maybe Felton or Smith might get some game time. I wonder if Danda would maybe make the bench. I don't think he'll start. Danda, I think maybe. I don't know. Obafemi, he started this game. Perot started the last, like it's hard. Cullen, I guess, will come back in. Maybe. Bender.
Yeah, I think so. I was just trying to find a balance because, like I said, I really want to see these players get more game time.
Yeah.
They need to play games. So I'm not sure how successful it's going to be if they just bring 11 changes in or loads of changes in.
I think maybe not sure how 4 or 5 changes. I reckon maybe.
We said about the fitness, so maybe players need rest as well. Don't
some
they?
On the bench, maybe Grimes will have a rest.
Because we played 3 games this week and another 3 games last week and another 3 games this week. So
yeah, and then another question: then, do we actually even want to win this game?
Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Do we want a cup run? Not do we want to beat Potter? Yeah. Do we actually want the cup run in this situation, or do we kind of need?
I take a cup run.
Or do we need these games where we would have a cup game?
Yeah, we need extra games
to be a break so that they can work on a training pitch and get what's more valuable.
I think we need game time. Say about getting match fitness and finding combinations. I think you only really truly find that out by playing games and playing certain players together in game situations. So I think the more games the better. I think for us at the moment because, like you said, he didn't have a pre-season, so the more games that he can get under his belt, better.
Yeah. Well,
a cup run is always good, isn't it?
How nice would it be to beat Potter? He's doing well, good on him. But how nice would that be?
Be class.
Do you think we?
It's going to be 0-0 because it's just going to be passing back too much. Everybody passing back too much.
Be a late drive home. Do you think we can do it?
Yeah, I don't see why not. It depends. It depends if they ring the changes in because they're playing really well at the moment. So I think if they are going for it and fancy a cup run, which they might, then I think they'll turn us over. I think because defensively, I don't think we can.
It's going to be tricky. They're not.
Well, it'd be interesting because what do we do if if Brighton have 70% possession? We both can't have 70% possession, can we? So wondering what we will do if we don't see much of the ball.
The real victory is no who scores the most goals. Anyway, it is who gets the most possession. That's the real winner of this match.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, what about Huddersfield then? Would you change anything from a starting team against Luton?
Against Luton, I think Ncham has got to start because I think he's been quality in what I've seen him play. Perot has got to start for me because I think he's really dangerous.
Okay, so if you start Ncham and Perot, who drops out of Patterson, Obafemi and Walsh?
At home, I think I'd like to see him play Obafemi and Perot with Ncham behind. So I'd like to see at home.
Are we at home? Are we? I thought we were away in a way.
At home on Saturday.
Seem to have had a lot of home games lately. Fair enough.
I'd like to see that at home. With Grimes and Downs again. I'm happy with those two.
Keeping Downs in, or do you maybe try a Grimes Felton? They've got the history. They've got Felton's got a bit more grit to him, perhaps. Although
I don't know. I quite like Downs. I quite like him. I think he puts in a good tackle. I mean, against Hull, when I saw on Saturday, he was getting about the park and putting his foot in.
I just
try
something
depends.
different because it hasn't worked yet.
Maybe we'll change it, but I'd probably stick to the same, to be honest. Just try Perot and Obafemi up front to see if they can get a bit more go forward.
Yeah, I think Led is a banker. I think Hamer will stay. So then it's the back three, and does Manning start or does Bidwell start?
I don't know. It's a bit weird that he's just sort of changed to Manning now, isn't he? Last couple of games.
No, I told you he was going to do it. The only reason he hadn't done it earlier is because he wanted him in centre back while we had injuries and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think he'd stick with Manning.
Yeah, maybe. maybe. I think Bidwell might play against Brighton. So then
I think he
will come back in. Centre backs then. Which three do you pick?
I don't know, but it's so hard to pick at the moment, isn't it?
No one's really standing out, are they?
No one's really putting a hand up. I think, I don't know, I think I would still play Bennett in there.
I think I would rather Cabango even.
I don't see Cabango. I don't think he's as sound defensively either.
He's not, but I don't know. Bennett has worried me a bit this season.
Yeah. I don't know. Those three are hard to pick at the moment. I maybe Norton if he's fit. He's got to be in there.
Because at home you're going to be asking Bennett to be up on the halfway line, keeping the ball. Do you know what I mean? So if someone does break with pace,
I know, but you do need someone in there. I know, like you will give it. You will
but
definitely.
I don't mind if Bennett starts, but it's got to be him or Norton for me, and then two of the others.
Yeah, maybe. He did that, didn't he? No, I don't know. You say against Hull. I'm sure Norton played in the middle against Hull.
Yeah, he did, I think.
With Williams, but did Bennett play as well? I can't remember. So
I don't know. Take in the middle for the last 3 games.
Yeah, I mean that works because he's got on the ball, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting anyway. Hopefully we can. We seem to be more comfortable at home keeping the ball, so perhaps this one will be where we get a win. And I think if we get a win here, it'll be a little bit of a. It will calm people down a bit. You know, it could be that 3-0 against Luton. If we can carry that momentum from our second half forward, that could be the moment that it clicks. You know, that could be the turning point. So.
It's worrying for me because we're still on the edge with the fans. Because I think if we lose against Huddersfield at home, they'll be uproar again.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Maybe it's not a must-win in terms of the league, but it's a must-win in terms of the fan morale.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like I said earlier with the Luton game, we were losing 3-0. I wasn't so much like I was gutted we were losing 3-0, but I was like, oh my god, that game next Saturday is going to be rough. People were booing at the end of the Millwall game, weren't they?
Why are you booing? I just don't understand that. You want to help your team play better, so you boo them. Makes sense.
Well, yeah, but that's where we are now, isn't it? That's the way it's gone.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else you want to say? Because I think we'll have to call it there. It's been nearly an hour.
No, not much. Just looking forward to Wednesday night now. Away day.
We'll try and make some TikToks, so follow us on there. I'm sure we'll get some stuff out, perhaps.
I'm glad we're driving though. I'm not sure how true it is. Someone can correct me. I'm sure someone was saying they were charging like 38 quid for the bus or something.
Really? Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I'm paying that. We just need to find a car
40 quid.
park. So if anyone's got any recommendations for Brighton, anywhere nice to eat, any good pubs, any car parks, let us know in the comments. Yeah. And
I never pay 40 quid for the bus. I'm outraged with that. I hate going on the bus as it is. I never pay 40 quid for it. And it's ridiculous.
It's only £15 a ticket, isn't it? Yeah. And
what time's kick off? 7:30, so they'll probably leave Swansea at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I was going to probably leave at like 10.
Yeah, that's 10, fine.
11. Anyway, thanks for watching or listening if you're on Spotify. Let us know in the comments what you think about what we said, and if you disagree with anything, or if you've got any points you want to raise. Don't forget to subscribe to get all of our videos, hit the bell if you want a notification when we upload, and like as well, as more people get to see our stuff that way. Thanks for watching, and we shall see you next time.
See you soon.
Have a good one. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, to click the like button to help us grow. To keep up to date with all of our new uploads, hit the subscribe button and push the bell to ensure you are notified of all of our new videos. As always, engage in the comments and let us know your opinions on what we discussed today. And if you want to support us directly, check out our new merch where you can find some awesome Swansea related t-shirts.